You know, I thought I was gonna start this off with the whole "Hey everybody, it's Captain Franchise," and I'll give you my three teams that I really think is gonna be fun and challenging to rebuild. But yeah, I was just browsing through Twitter, and as you can see, you see the Texans on the screen. I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest with you. That's the note. I feel like that's gonna be one of the harder teams to rebuild. So I was like, the Texans, and I had like this entire preparation and it's had like all these notes ready. Had a whole little script, and then I read like, oh, in the script, in there's like, Deshaun Watson might not play for the Texans. He might even be on the commissioner's exempt list. We don't know what's going to happen with that one. You got all these running backs in the roster, the older running backs, anyways. You got decent older receivers. Brandon Cooks did hit 1,000 yards, but after that, I don't know. I don't know if Randall Cobb's going to be the answer of Nico Collins being drafted right now, sitting at like wide receiver 4 or 5. Kiki QT never really had a chance, and now he can actually get in the slot. Bill O'Brien let his ego get the best of him, and now that really tanked the team. Davion left. DeAndre was traded, as you guys already know. Now JJ is sitting there in Arizona with DeAndre. Excuse me. And now I see Twitter, and at this time that I'm recording this, Deshaun Watson is finna get, the Eagles are finna trade for him as soon as he figures out the legal trouble. So that means now what the Texans have been doing, which has been building this team for Tyrod Taylor and the other QB they drafted, was kind of just slipping my mind right now, from Stanford. They're really going to have to build on this and really have to just go with the mobile game and run game, because right now you don't have a good quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is like a bridge quarterback and has bridged like 3 or 4 careers now. Everywhere he's gone, the person behind him usually picks up the slack and is like a great QB. And I don't know if the Texans just saw that or were just like, hey, we have an offense that we're going to build for a mobile QB. Let's just pick up Tyrod and we're going to make this work. I hope it works out, but this team is not going to win that many games. This team is not going to win that many games. And that's what's going to be so challenging. It's like, are you going to have the patience to go through and try to rebuild? I mean, the highlights of the team, I guess David Johnson, who's a good guy, but nobody would give up Nuke for David Johnson. Nobody that I know of would give him up. But yeah, let me actually get into my notes, because as I started recording this, I saw Twitter and I wasn't ready for that, and I wasted like 2 minutes. So, like I said, they don't know who their QB1 is. If everything happened with Deshaun Watson, didn't know if he was going to end up on the exempt list. Now you know that he is probably going to end up getting traded to the Eagles. I just saw that, thought that was pretty nice. So there went all of my QB talk. That was going to take me like 2 or 3 minutes. The offensive line is kind of a mess. Yeah, you got Marcus Cannon. Is he going to play guard or tackle for you? You're going to slide Titus Howard on the inside so he can get some help, so he's not getting dogged by, I don't know, Harold Landry the entire, like, twice a year. Not saying that Harold Landry's like the best, but geez, AFC South doesn't really have that good of like edge rushers right now, does it? I could just be missing something, but I'm like, the biggest threat in the AFC South for a pass rush is DeForest Buckner, and he's on the Colts on the interior. So I think this section of the team is going to win maybe like 4 or 5 games, picking in the top 5. If they don't trade away their first round pick this time around, they can probably get themselves a good QB. Even if they do get a good QB, they're gonna have to build a better offensive line, get some weapons, fix their majority of their defense. Because yeah, you traded for Shaq Lawson, which is a good player. Now that they're switching to a 4-3 in their defense, they can really make something out of that. I think he's probably gonna be their best defensive lineman. Because I know like Whitney Merciless was a 3-4 linebacker. Now they're going to put him on with his hand in the dirt with his age and how some of his play went last year. I don't know if that's really going to work out for him. And then they're going to end up drafting somebody there, trying to pick up some free agents. But just looking at like who wants to go to the Texans, especially after this, like they're turning into what the Browns used to be, what the Chiefs used to be. The team that really just couldn't win any games and just draft picks on draft picks now. I mean, like, the good news, they should be able to get good cap situations now. You don't really have too many people that have, like, super big contracts. But, I don't know, linebackers, Zach Cunningham, probably, I think, is their best linebacker since Bernard McKinney isn't there anymore. With him gone and only Zach Cunningham, I think you have Kevin Pierre-Louis. I think that's going to be a nice 1-2, especially whenever they go to nickel, which is like the new base for the NFL. Cornerback wise, you picked up Desmond King, you have Bradley Roby, you still have Justin Reed. Garyon Conley is gone, but it's not going to fit this Tampa 2 that Lovie Smith is in. Don't know how he got a job, but Texans have been making all the wrong moves. But hey, they're gonna keep going. I'm not saying this is an embarrassment to the franchise, but I know it's been we're going on almost 20 years that this franchise has been there, and still can't get past like the second round of playoffs. And now they're not going to be sniffing playoffs for like the next 3 seasons unless like this unit just has great cohesion by week 4 and just picks everything up. But hey, okay, so I'm just go ahead and get on to my other team because I have 2 more teams I want to do because I'm only going to do 3. That's just how I felt about it. Number 2, the Detroit Lions. Oh yeah, and this is not going to be good. I'm probably going to get hate for this for anybody who's watching who happens to be a Lions fan. Team that wasted 2 prolific Hall of Fame careers out in Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, and now traded away Matt Stafford. Yeah, you got a contract out the way. You got Jared Goff out of it. Maybe you can build something around him. He already has a contract for like at least another 2 or 3 years. Should be. That you can work around. You also got Miles Brockers to help with your defensive line. You picked up Penny Sewell. I hope I said that right. Out of Oregon to help solidify the tackle position. This team, you're going to have to really try to get a run game going and get Goff back to what he was good at in LA, which was letting the running back do majority of the work and countering off all the play action. If you simply just go back and let Goff just try to sling the rock, it's going to end up just like that Bears game back in, I think it was 2016 or 17, where they couldn't get anything done, and this man was just throwing interception on interception, turnover, and they got dismantled, and everybody took that from Sean McVay. Rams win this trade. Rams do win that trade, by the way, but speaking of the Lions, Jared Goff's going to have that chip on his shoulder. The good news is he has playoff experience. He's been to Super Bowl. He's hungry. He wants to win. With that chip on his shoulder, he wants to show everybody, he's the guy that should have stayed in LA. That he had the tools. He just didn't. Things didn't work out for the best. Kenny Galladay's going to New York. So questions like, how are your receivers going to stack up against the rest of the AFC North? How's your defense going to stack up against the rest of them, especially the Vikings, who are going to do one of 2 things: either hand the ball to Dalvin Cook or just chuck it deep to Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen, who's going to catch it. Kind of in a bind there. And that's where the head coach, he knows that this is going to be tough. It's going to be a grind to try and get this team up, which is why he made the reference of biting off kneecaps. And it's going to take you 2 punches to knock them down. Yeah, they know they're going to lose some games. So when they win, you're going to feel bad. It's going to be like, how did you lose to this team? And so he's just like, if we could just win some games, we can make the most out of it. We can build a little confidence, figure out what helps us win these games, capitalize off of it, figure out what kept us losing these games, and minimize it. And, it might not be too hard of a road. You might be able to score a win against the Packers if they trade Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love's still I think he's gonna have the potential, but if you can rock him up maybe once or twice, you might have something there, but you're gonna spend too much time blitzing, and Devontae Adams is going to cook whoever you put on him. It's a fact. He's gonna cook somebody. Justin Jefferson's gonna cook somebody. Adam Thielen's definitely Adam Thielen's gonna cook. Justin Jefferson definitely is gonna cook somebody. Chicago Bears, I'm pretty sure Justin Fields just gonna run away from whoever you throw at him. This team is probably going to end up dead last in their division, just as the Texans will. If the Texans don't end up last in the division, you You guys thought 2020 was going to be weird. Okay. Now for Falcons. In my notes, I have wing it. Okay. So the Falcons are my favorite team, so I'm going to just try to make this quick and painless and not piss myself off with this one. The good news is you still have Calvin Ridley. You still have a great offense. I think you still have like a good offense, not a great one. I mean, you can get something going with the zone run game. I wouldn't really do power. You're going to need a new running back if Hawkins doesn't pick up and be the number one guy, because I don't see Mike Davis being your number one. Julio's gone, but you have Calvin Ridley. You still got Russell Gage. Calvin's going to be obviously be your number one. And I think he's proven he can be a number one, because everybody's asking, excuse me, everybody's asking if he can be a number one. But what he did last year with Julio out, yeah, he kind of proved he can be a number one receiver. Just, he's proved it. He was number one with Julio, but now he gets to show everybody, yeah, this is going to be my team now. Todd Gurley left. The defense is in somewhat kind of shambles. Looks like they're going to be flipping to a 3-4 or a hybrid front, which they tried that. I went to the game where they played the Texans, and that didn't save them for anything. As they were trying to keep Deshaun in the pocket, they were flipping between three nickel with 3 interior, 2 linebackers on the edge, and 1 linebacker back. And regular nickel, a 4 down lineman, and 2 linebackers. They was getting cooked whether he was going to chuck the ball deep to Nuke or Will Fuller, or if he was going to run it himself, which they just got styled on that whole entire game. But then you also have Barkevius Mingo, who I'm not going to say what he did. You can look that one up if you want to. He's no longer on the team, which hurts the linebacker depth. D-line, Grady Jarrett is like the only thing that you guys really have. You have to capitalize off of that. You either need to build get a win now mentality and squeeze what little time you're actually going to have left from Matt Ryan with the regression system that is Madden, if they don't change it too much this year. You have a couple more. You'll have I think you can squeeze 4 or 5 years with Calvin Ridley. For the defense, if you do the 3-4 or the hybrid, you're going to be running more like the Ravens concept in order to have to get by. And the Ravens relied on heavy blitzing, always trying to confuse, and great corner play. Falcons don't have great corners. They're not terrible. They're not terrible. I think that they can play better man than zone, because of the cover 3 zone that Dan Quinn was always trying to build on, that was so successful for him in Seattle, just didn't work. I think it worked for the first 2 years in Atlanta, and then after that everybody was just yeah, if all you're gonna do is run zone, then all we're gonna do is just dink and dunk our way down the field. Linebackers, I mean, it's not completely bad. The edge is you don't have any edge pressure. The interior with Aluakon and Deion Jones, great one too. Those two are going to be your biggest thing, the best thing. You have Grady Jarrett, you have your 2 linebackers. You don't have Kiki QT anymore, DeMonte KZ, or Ricardo Allen. Cap and Release, they all going to go to other teams unless you guys can figure out the cap situation, which is going to be your biggest thing. You do have some promising rookies. They're promising. You can make something out of it. But I think your biggest fight for this team is not going to be whether or not you can play good. I think you can still make this team pretty good after 1 or 2 years. You already have the chance to go to the playoffs if you play the cards right. It's the cap situation and dealing with Matt Ryan's contract and anybody else who has a good contract to be able to build anything around this team. You have to have the win now and get what you can out of Matt Ryan. After that, maybe 2 more years, you're going to go into a rebuild mode. You might have to draft a QB year 1, not in the first round, of course. I don't think you're going to be that bad, but something late with good development in order to have a chance to have a QB of the future. You do like what Deuce Douglas did, and kind of just like 1 or 2 years get a QB, do what you can, Matt Ryan, and just keep that QB on the bench and keep him ready and do some practice with him. Make sure that you got a potential like next MVP in line. Like this team can do it. Once you figure out the cap situation, you get past these contracts that they've had to give out, you'll be fine. Draft some D line help, draft some safety, draft some cornerback help as well. Just a little, like one more corner. Get a running back and get another receiver, and I think you're set. And then it's just a matter of how badly is the contract situation gonna end up until you fix the cap situation. And that's my biggest point. Until you fix that cap situation, it's gonna be tough. You have a great team. The cap, it just sucks. So there you have it. Those are my 3 teams. Texans need a complete and utter rebuild in my eyes. The Lions, culture change, which is going to be fun. And the Falcons, cap situation, and you trying to squeeze out the remaining life that you can until you have to go into a full rebuild mode. And that's for the people that want to keep it, kind of realistic, follow those storylines, and try to play this out for multiple years instead of like 1 to 2 years and just be on their way, or those 32-man franchises that take it super seriously. But those are my 3 teams. If any of this sound interesting to you and I kept your attention all the way to this point in the video, make sure that you like and comment or don't. I can't really control y'all. You stayed this long, that's all I can thank you for. But thanks for watching. Y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all whatever I end up posting next.